Hey guys, it's Eddie and today I am back with another movie review for you all. Now today's movie that I'll be reviewing, I have been debating over whether to actually put my opinion out there because I feel like my interpretation of this movie and my feelings about this movie may be a little controversial because from what I have read, it's a rather well respected and well received movie that came out end of last year. And I watched it recently and I was very, very disappointed. I know that I'm not the only one who thinks this, but I don't feel like my opinion is the majority opinion regarding this film. But nevertheless, I'm just going to throw my opinions out there and see whether people agree or not. If you don't, that's totally fine. But that's just my little disclaimer. But the movie that I'll be reviewing today is La La Land, directed by Damien Chazelle and starring Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Now, this film revolves around two young, aspiring people, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. Emma Stone's character wants to become an actress and make it big in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Ryan Gosling's character is a very determined jazz pianist who thinks that the art of jazz is dying and wants to open up his own jazz club. And the two kind of fall in love after initially sort of being at loggerheads, and it's just all about their journey into achieving what they want to achieve. So while I thought this was a visually beautiful film, I liked the touches of reality and unreality about it. I liked the visual elements of escapism that were running throughout, including the two of them sort of suddenly lifting off the ground and dancing in midair and, sort of dancing through the stars. That was lovely. I thought it was very pretty and visually appealing. But while the look of this movie was great, with the sort of primary colours at the beginning and the opening sequence being very eye-catching and very sort of, wow, this looks very nice. While the visual aspect was great, I thought that the rest of this film was adequate. Disappointing, in fact. I thought that the acting was okay. I think the best moment from Stone came near the beginning when her character was in an audition and she was producing this very emotional piece of acting, or her character was, and she was just kind of dismissed and ignored by the people who were auditioning her for a movie or whatever it was. And I thought that was the best of her acting in this film. I thought that obviously it wasn't a bad performance. I think that Emma Stone is a great actress, but considering she got an Oscar for this role, I didn't see anything about the performance that particularly wowed me. Now, of course, she did do extra things in this film. She sang and she danced, but still, I don't feel like there was enough of that in this film that she produced that made me go, oh God, she's put so much work into this, give her the Oscar right now. Couple that with her acting, which was good, but not, it wasn't totally amazing. I just thought this was it. I was expecting so much more. But from that first acting audition scene that she did, and she produced like this, wonderful moment, I was excited and I was prepared to follow her in her struggle that she was obviously about to go on in achieving her dreams. And the same for Ryan Gosling's character, but I never really did get that fulfilled. I never really did become attached to them. I didn't really care about how their story was going to end up in the end because I was just a little bit disinterested. There was nothing about their characters that were particularly intriguing or enticing that made me go, I want to see these people succeed and I want to see how this journey for them turns out. I was just a little bit like, okay, fine, do what you want, guys, go for it. But I wasn't really rooting for them. And that's something that I always tend to look for in a film. I always tend to look for whether the characters are drawing me in, and on this occasion I don't feel that they did. I don't think it was the actors' faults in particular. I think it was the actual story and the characters themselves, because we all know that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are great actors. They are at the forefront of their generation at the moment, I would consider them to be. But there was something in this film that was missing, and their acting was just baseline. It was okay. I think the problem with this movie was that it was placing very cliche tropes that we've seen a million times before, such as girl is in Hollywood, girl struggles to break out as an actress, or guy, is trying to recover a lost art in music. It was struggling artsy people realizing their dreams, and this was in a modern day musical. This was 2016, 2017, and it had many opportunities, I feel, as a modern musical to break boundaries while still capturing that classic musical spirit that is uplifting and it's intriguing. And it did have fantastic pieces of cinematography, as I've said, but I just felt like they could have gone in so many directions that made this a better, more entertaining, more enticing movie. But instead they just went for cliche tropes, and it just didn't work. I felt like I'd seen it all before, and I was expecting this spectacular piece of cinema, because it was nominated for so many Oscars, I think like a record-breaking amount, and I just ended up at the end going, why was it so popular? I can't understand. And what disappointed me so much is that I was really, really looking forward to this film, because everyone knows that I'm a film buff, and I was just like, okay, we're going to be witnessing something really, really special here. I don't know if I just didn't understand the film. I couldn't see through certain aspects of it, but I don't know what there was for me to pick up on, or for me to see through and to get about it, because even on the surface it just seemed very lackluster. I thought that it would be a refreshing musical, a new take on a musical, while still capturing that old time golden age Hollywood spirit of musicals in moments. But it just felt like a boring, unoriginal rehash. And I know that probably sounds harsh, but it also had pretentious characters, I felt. And sure, you can have characters that are unlikable, but they are still interesting, and you still end up following them and see where their journey takes them, because they're actually interesting. But this wasn't the case either, which is just, it's so sad. I did like at the end the sort of attempt at a twist, or like a dream sequence that happened at the very end. Obviously, if you haven't seen this film yet, I won't spoil it for you, but there is sort of that element towards the end, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but it just again felt like a sort of desperate grab to keep one's attention. And it did provide that moment some lovely cinematography, probably the best in the entire film, and I thought that was great. Like, it was a great piece of filmmaking. But with regards to the rest of the film, I kind of wish that the whole film had been like that, rather than just chucking that in at the end and it being like, oh, keep watching, because like this is happening now. And I was just like, okay, fine. But yeah, as I said, it was very beautiful, but again, it just kind of felt like it was like clawing at you to keep you interested, and at that point I was just done. I didn't like the initial opening number, apart from the look of it, but I still felt its promise, and I decided to stick with it because, as I said, I really wanted to like this film. And from a musical standpoint, the only song that actually stuck in my head after I watched this film was City of Stars.
City of stars, are are you shining just for me? City of stars, there's so much that I can't see.
Which is probably arguably the most famous one from the film. But you know how with the likes of Grease, you remember a multitude of songs from that film sort of straight away. They're so catchy and it provides endless amounts of quality moments. But in this film I didn't feel like there was even one special moment that I would take with me after seeing this film. It was just kind of all disinteresting, and that's really sad. I did like the realism of the ending. I kind of felt that that was unexpected. It wasn't sort of airy-fairy and kind of plastic happy ending. It was real, and I was like, okay, great. They sort of did something that I didn't expect, and that was fantastic. And it took an unusual path, but I have to say that's one of the only things about this film that I liked. And I'm incredibly sad to say that because, as I said, I was very, very excited to watch this film and know what people were raving about, and unfortunately I didn't find it. I don't know. I just couldn't get on board with this film, and I know that a lot of people adore it, and that's absolutely fine. Obviously I can see why people would. It's got two great actors at its helm, but I just think they weren't pushed to the potential that I know that the director Damien Chazelle, who's directed fantastic films. I loved Whiplash, but I don't feel like they were pushed to their real capabilities in this film. I felt that as a musical it wasn't very enticing, and I didn't end up remembering much from it other than the fact that I was kind of bored and didn't really like it. And I know that sounds incredibly harsh. So if you do like this film, all I can do is sort of apologise for this viewpoint, but that's just what I drew from it and my opinion. So I'm very sorry if this was a very, very negative review, but I did just want to get my opinion out there about it because I just don't see what other people see, I guess. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this review. Maybe if your views on this film are similar, great, you'll agree with me. If not, it's just a movie, it's fine. You probably hate some films that I absolutely adore, and that's fine because it's all subjective. But thanks so much for watching this review. You can always request movies for me to review by commenting down below or messaging me on my Tumblr. The link will always be in the description. But that is it for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!